If you want to beat the heat this summer, you need to see these no-cook freezer meals.
This is gonna make it so that you don't heat your house up and all the work is done ahead so that your summer is even easier. And like Christy was saying, much less hot.
It's still gonna be as hot outside, but maybe your kitchen won't be quite so sweltering if you're not turning on your oven. Isn't that nice?
And I think some of these are going to surprise you and stretch what you think is possible when it comes to freezer cooking. So we're gonna dive right in. We're gonna give you all kinds of great ideas today. You can find some of these recipes in the description down below. Thanks for joining us, and let's jump right in.
You will be surprised to hear that this Big Mac salad is a freezer meal. And it is delicious, and it tastes just like a Big Mac, and it is super simple to prepare.
And easy to convince your kids to eat this because it's got the word Big Mac in it. So it's like, instead of hitting that McDonald's drive-through, you can save yourself a whole lot of money and just make this Big Mac salad at home.
My daughter is 17, and her friends go to McDonald's so often that they call it Don's. It's not McDonald's, it's not Rotten Ronnie's like we used to call it, or McD's. They're going to Don's. And so first couple of times she said that, I'm like, do you have a friend named Dawn? Is Dawn a boy or a girl? Like, is it D-A-W-N? Like, whose house are you going to at lunch? Dawn's. And she's like, Mom, it's McDonald's. And I'm like, oh. So you can tell your kids that you're going to Don's and getting a Big Mac salad. Into a large freezer bag, you are going to start with your ground beef that has been browned and cooled. You'll add in a bit of salt and pepper, some garlic powder, a bit of minced onion, and some finely diced dill pickles, and that is everything you're gonna put in that bag. You're gonna mix them around together right in the bag and get that excess air out. You wanna seal it up, and then you're gonna take some cheddar cheese and put that into a medium-sized freezer bag. Get the excess air out. So air, it causes the freezer burn. So we're gonna get as much out as we can. And then seal it up. We're gonna staple these bags together and pop it into our freezer. When we go to make this, we'll allow it to thaw. And here's the thing, you do not need to cook this. You can have this just the way it is, but you're going to get a head of iceberg lettuce. You're gonna just chop it up and make a salad. And then you're going to put the lettuce in each of the bowls and then top it with this mixture and the cheese. And you're going to add Thousand Island dressing. And if you want it to be truly a Big Mac special, you're gonna add sesame seeds, because then it's just like the bun.
Totally.
And if you want, and you have them and you feel like a little bit more work, you can add some fresh diced tomatoes. And it is just like going to Don's.
This next one is brand new, and I'm so excited about it because it is delicious. Delicious. Did you catch that pun? This is our dill pickle bagel spread. It is so perfect for a day that you don't want to heat your house up, but you do want to have something hearty. This could be a breakfast, a lunch, or a snack. It is super filling, actually, so I wouldn't recommend it being a snack unless you're gonna share it with like 4 people. But anyway, into a bowl, you're gonna mix some softened cream cheese, minced purple onion, sliced chives, shredded cheddar cheese, chopped fresh dill, some everything bagel seasoning, and dill pickle juice, chopped dill pickles, cooked and crumbled bacon. Once that's mixed really well, you're just gonna transfer it into a quart-sized freezer bag, get as much air out as you can, and get that into your freezer. When you wanna go to make this, you thaw it, you toast your bagel, and you spread this on your bagel, make a bagel sandwich, and eat it. My daughter and I, we saw this on like a social media reel. Theirs was a little bit different because we wanted to make sure this was fully freezer friendly and everything. And we made ours a little bit easier, but just as tasty. As soon as we saw it, she and I were like, we have to make this. Once I realized I could actually make it freezer friendly, I was like over the moon. So another thing that you could do is, if you're gonna be eating this by yourself and you don't think thawing that whole thing is gonna make enough for quite a few bagels, if you're not gonna finish it, then what you can do is you can actually portion it into an ice cube tray and then pop that out once it's frozen and transfer those cubes of this bagel spread into a freezer bag, and then you can take out 1 or 2 as needed so that you've got the perfect amount to make your bagels. And oh my is right. And that is really smart about the ice cube tray. And then, I don't know if you know this, but here's some data for you nerds out there. Each of those are typically 2 tablespoons. There you go.
So if you are somebody that is portioning or rationing, or you just want to know, it's 2 tablespoons. And that's like totally great for like a bagel or 2 bagels. I love that so much. We went right from a brand new one to an oldie but a goodie. This one has been around a while and we love it. It is the beef and bean burritos. And they are totally something that you can have hot or cold, but you know, if you do not want to turn your oven on, you can definitely have them cold. So we're going to start out with our lean ground beef in a skillet. We're going to fry it up and we're going to add taco seasoning from a packet, or we use ours from bulk because honestly we go through it so much. You want to add some water and let it simmer, and it's going to thicken a little bit and season your ground beef just right. Then you are going to allow that to cool a bit. And then you're going to take your tortillas. We like to use the big flour tortillas. And we're going to smear a good dollop of refried beans right onto the center of the tortilla. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons or so of that beef mixture. Then we're going to add our toppings. You can add some peppers and onions. And if you wanted to, you could add cheese. We don't, because the ones who really like this at Charlotte's house were lactose intolerant. So we skip the cheese in these. You absolutely can add cheese if you like. And then we're going to fold it up burrito style. And then we're going to wrap them individually in foil. And then those foil packets can go into a freezer bag. Get that into your freezer. When you go to eat this, obviously you're gonna wanna thaw this if you're going to eat it cold. But if you did want to heat it up, you can take it out of the foil, heat it up in the microwave. You can leave it in the foil. You can do your oven. Maybe do it first thing in the morning so your house has time to cool off again. Or use a toaster oven, or do it outside. It's great to take camping too.
You could do this in the air fryer. Although this is no cook, I know. And these can honestly be eaten without cooking or just microwaved. But if you did want to cook them up, there are cooking instructions. We are not stopping you. These are so fantastic for teens. I can tell you that firsthand. I love that they're individually wrapped, because then if you are doing a road trip or something, you can grab some to go, take them with you. They're great for a picnic, a beach day, whatever. These are so great for late night snacks. They're just, we've talked about this before, they are just hungry teen approved. And like Christy was saying, you can customize them, because if they don't like peppers, you don't have to add the peppers. If you want to add cheese, you can add the cheese. You can serve them with hot sauce if you like. It's just whatever you like.
The sky's the limit on the beef and bean burritos.
Absolutely. We have a pasta salad. Actually, we have several pasta salads in our repertoire that can be used as a freezer meal, which people are always surprised by, but I love it. It's already done for you. You know, in the summer, you often get invited to barbecues or potlucks, and this is something where the work is already done. You can just literally grab it out of the freezer, thaw it on your way, actually. Like, put it in a bowl.
Guilty.
And you've got something that, especially for those last minute invitations, sometimes for the last minute invitations, you find yourself having to go to the store and pick up a store-bought pasta salad or a store-bought potato salad or coleslaw if you're really in a pinch. Now this is gonna taste so much better than the store-bought pasta salads. It's gonna be a fraction of the price, and you're gonna walk in with like your own bowl and they're gonna know it's homemade. So you also get to look like the queen.
That's a total flex. Absolutely. Especially in 2025.
Absolutely.
That's a flex. Yeah. And if you are here watching this channel, there's a good chance that you're already that person. But we all get in a pinch, don't we? And so it is absolutely something really great to have in your freezer.
My husband and I went to a friend's birthday party. It was like one of those milestone birthday parties out at a lake this past weekend. And that day was crazy. I had been in the mountains up until the night before, so I had arrived home the night before. And then that day, Christy and I went out. We went to high tea for Christy's birthday.
I had never done it before and it was very fancy.
We had such a nice time.
We did.
And it was like the beautiful gardens, and it was at this beautiful
overlooking the river valley.
Yes. Oh, iconic place here, and we had such a nice time.
Yeah, we did.
And such a nice visit. So that was my priority. And when I got home, I was planning to make my dill pickle pasta salad. It's not
It is famous.
freezer mealable.
It is not freezer mealable,
No.
but do you know what? You should just post it in the description so people have it. 'Cause
Yes.
it is killer.
I will put the link. It is a spend with pennies recipe.
That's right.
And I'll put the link in the description below, because this is one that if you're gonna make something up fresh, you wanna make this. And actually, okay, hold on one second. This year for Canada Day, which is July 1st, for those of you who are American and don't know, what I did is I made
that's
it
so
with this O Canada limited edition pasta that is maple leaf shaped. And actually I bought several boxes for the future also. But anyway, this is what I did for Canada Day this year, because you have to have dill pickle salad. Anyway, I was planning to do my dill pickle salad for this birthday party because you had to bring an appetizer or a salad to share. The day just got away on me. I had all the ingredients, but I could not do it. I got home and there were things that had to get done and they were priority. And it just got to the point where we were already supposed to be there and it was an hour drive. And so we stopped by a grocery store on the way and got one of those Rio things where it's like potato salad, coleslaw, and pasta salad. And
Here comes the
look
lady that runs a
appetizing.
YouTube channel for food.
I know. And I show up with that and store-bought spinach dip. Just
If
so you
you'd
know.
have had your pasta salad going on in the freezer.
Well, this is the crazy part. I have homemade spinach dip in my freezer. Like in the other room, I have homemade spinach dip in my backup freezer, and it's beautiful. It's a delicious recipe. It's way better than the store-bought. But I didn't have any bread, and I thought then I would have to, like, how
You
am
would
I
have to
going to
cut
cut
the
the
bread.
bread? So I bought the spinach dip that already had the bread cut instead of bringing my homemade. Anyway, I got myself in a pinch, and I had no way out of it because I did not have a pasta salad in my freezer at the time. But I will, for the rest of the summer, have pasta salads in my freezer ready to go, because I also have this, I'm chatting now and gone on this rabbit trail, but I'm getting to the recipe. Just before, I'm just gonna tell you that there's this green pasta salad I made 2 years ago that is making a comeback because I have kind of perfected it. So it's gonna be on its way to the Freezer Meals 101 Club. And then I'm also going to be making our jalapeno ranch pasta salad and this Caesar chicken pasta salad that I'm gonna show you right now. So you're gonna want to cook and drain your pasta. You can use whatever kind of pasta you want. You could use a bow tie pasta, a shell pasta, or the maple leaf pasta, whatever. You can have fun with this. Then you're gonna drain that and run it under cold water. In a large bowl, you're gonna combine some Caesar salad dressing, lemon juice, salt, and pepper, cooked and cubed chicken, cooked and crumbled bacon, shredded Parmesan cheese. You just want to gently combine it. You don't want to break up your pasta. And then you can transfer that into your large resealable freezer bag, get as much air as you can out of there, seal it, and freeze it. When you go to make this, you just thaw it and you can totally serve it just as it is. It's delicious, and I've had people ask me for the recipe. Or what I prefer to do is actually just wash and rinse up some lettuce and tear that up and toss this with some lettuce. It just freshens it up and gives you even more of that like Caesar salad feel. And that is, oh, it's so summery, so good, and completely no cook. One of the things that I especially love about this is it makes a lot. So If you're making it for lunches or smaller portions, then when you mix it together in your bowl initially, you can just portion it out into quart-sized bags, and then you'll just have small portions. You can also portion it out into quart-sized bags if you're just going to be using it for a side dish for your dinner.
Something that makes a really great snack, but if you ate enough of them, it would make a nice lunch, are taco cups. They're super simple to make and they're kid friendly. They go great in lunches and they're just nice to imagine yourself out on the back deck in the shade, and you have like fruity drinks that are summery. I make a really mean virgin mojito that is from like a mojito recipe that I have that you make in the picture. But do you remember I brought it to
delicious.
The baby shower you had at your
Yes.
house for your daughter, and it's just so fresh and awesome. So that is something that I enjoy on my back deck, and I have mint this year, so I maybe will go home and make some today. And so this is something that you can just put out. The kids are hopping out of the pool. Here, have some taco cups. It was no sweat. Literally. When you go to make this, you are going to start by cooking your mini tart shells just according to your package directions. While your shells are cooking, you're going to brown your ground beef. Once it's cooked through, you want to stir in some taco seasoning and water, and again simmer it until that is thickened up a little bit. Or if you're really smart, you'll make these all together and you'll simmer all of your ground beef at once so you can make it into multiple different things. Ta-da! It's so smart to do it that way. You're going to fill each tart shell with some of the taco meat, and then you're going to top it with some shredded cheddar, or you can use like a Tex-Mex if you want. Then you're going to return those shells to the oven. Let them cook for a few more minutes. Let the cheese get good and melty, and then you're going to allow them to cool. And you're going to transfer them to a freezer bag and then pop them into your freezer. When you go to have these, you take out as many cups as you want and you allow them to thaw. You can heat them up, kind of like we said with a few of these others, but really they can just be eaten cold. If you are out in the heat and you throw these on a plate, they will disappear. Doesn't matter if they are hot or cold, they will be gone because they are super good.
These would also be really good to take to a picnic or a potluck.
Oh yeah.
They would
Definitely disappear at a potluck.
That's what made me think about it. When you said they would disappear, I was like, oh, if this was a group gathering, they would be snatched up so quickly.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, along those same lines, we also have our Sloppy Joe bites. They are super kid friendly. You can make them up ahead. You don't need to heat them up. If you wanted to, you could, but honestly, we eat these cold. So what you're going to do for this is you're going to take some of that refrigerated crescent dough and you're going to roll it out and cut it into 24 squares. You're going to spray your mini muffin tin with some cooking spray, and then you're going to put each of those squares into your mini muffin tin and press it down to make a little cup. Then you're going to cook up some onion and ground beef in a skillet. Add some minced garlic, barbecue sauce, and soy sauce. Give that a good stir, and then you're just gonna fill that little dough cup with your meat mixture, top it with some shredded cheddar cheese, and then you're just gonna bake this for like 8 to 10 minutes, super fast. Allow it to cool, and then add it into your large resealable freezer bag, get your air out, and get it into your freezer. This is another one where it would be great to double this, or to double this plus make it at the same time as you're making those taco cups and those beef and bean burritos. The wonderful thing about freezer meals, no, that's not true. One of the many wonderful things about freezer meals is it allows you to save so much money because you can buy in bulk, you can take advantage of sales. So if there's a sale on ground beef, then you can make a whole bunch of recipes with your ground beef, not let any of it go to waste. Make sure that it's all going to be used. You're gonna get the biggest bang for your buck. One of the things you could do if there's a ground beef sale is you could go into the Freezer Meals 101 Club. You could click the ground beef button. It will populate all the recipes using ground beef. You could even be more specific than that, and you could click the ground beef button and the no cook button. Then you'd see recipes like these pop up. You can filter by so many different things. Then it allows you to create a custom meal plan print off your shopping list, your prep list, and printable labels with the cooking instructions, which ironically, all the recipes we're sharing with you today don't really need cooking instructions because you can eat them cold.
Then we call them serving instructions.
Yes.
Another great no-cook meal that you can have in the summer is tomato basil soup. Now, I don't think this is a true gazpacho. However, it is something that you're going to cook ahead of time and then freeze it, and it's supposed to be reheated, but it is perfectly fine to eat this one cold, and you might like it even a little bit more. To make the creamy tomato basil soup, you're going to start with your olive oil in a large pot over medium heat. You're going to add in some chopped onions and some sliced carrots. You're going to cook and stir it for about 7 minutes, and then you're going to add some minced garlic. We just add ours from a jar. It's so easy to do it that way. And then we cook it for another minute. You're going to add your diced tomatoes, and you can either use like Roma tomatoes or some baby tomatoes. Whatever you have on hand is probably fine. Throw it in there. You're going to add your chicken broth, some salt, some pepper, and some brown sugar. And then we are going to bring that to just a boil. And then we are going to lower the heat and simmer it for 30 minutes. And then we are going to chop up some fresh basil. And if you're making this in the spring or summer, there is a chance that you have some out on your deck already, because I know I do at my house. Often you do as well. And so chop as much basil as you want to throw in there, like maybe even a whole cup of chopped basil. Just get it in there. Then you're going to take an immersion blender, and you are going to blend it until it is perfectly smooth. You will bring your soup to a simmer again, add some heavy cream, and then you want to give it a nice stir and get it off the heat. Once it's cooled, you're going to transfer it into either a large resealable freezer bag. You could do this into super cubes when you freeze them into blocks, 1 cup blocks, and then you can pop those into a freezer bag for long-term storage. And then you just take out a cup at a time and have it. But man, this is refreshing and fresh, even though it's been frozen. It just tastes so fresh. And I promise you, it will be fantastic, even though it's cold.
We have some other ideas. We've got another recipe coming that you can eat cold and it will be great. But we had some other ideas of recipes of ours that you could adapt for a no-cook summer. And some of those would be things like a lot of our slider recipes. You could make them and cook them and then freeze them. And then they're ready to eat. They can be like pull apart, or you can slice them and eat them. They are also great for taking with you places. Our chicken bites, we have, 5 at least varieties of chicken bites. We've got lemon, pepper, shawarma, Greek.
I had the Greek for lunch before I came here today.
So good.
So good.
Ranch, blackened Cajun, all the things.
Did you say lemon pepper?
Yes.
Okay. That's my favorite.
And those ones go into your bag raw, traditionally, get frozen, and then they cook up in 10 minutes in your skillet. But if you wanted to cook them up ahead and freeze them in smaller portions, then that chicken is ready and you can eat it cold, because you can eat it in things like wraps, and you can make a souvlaki pita with your lettuce and tzatziki and fresh mint and tomato and like all the amazing things, some feta cheese sprinkled in there, a very good stuff. And for the Greek, you can also do a very similar
That is exactly
idea.
what I did today with the Greek.
Yes.
It wasn't even the shawarma, and we did that with the Greek chicken bites. I had cooked them up the day before, and so they were cold in the fridge. We just ate them cold. I was going to offer to my husband to heat them up, and I'm like, no, we can eat these cold, and that is just a-okay, and they were perfect.
Totally. And the other one that would be really good is the blackened Cajun chicken. So good on Caesar salad. That's one of the suggestions that we give you for that one anyway. And you can just have it cold on your Caesar salad. And, if you're really in a pinch, you can get a purchased Caesar salad, like in the bag, or the ones at Costco that are pre-made. So that is such an easy, already done dinner or lunch for in the summer when you don't want your house to get hot. We also have a make-ahead quiche that would be delicious cold. Again, you could heat it in the microwave if you wanted, but honestly, it would be good cold. Or you could take one of our chickpea recipes, like our buffalo chickpeas or our hot honey chickpeas, and those ones just heat in the microwave. So you can have a little bit of a really easy meal prep bowl, and all you needed was to use your microwave. So again, not heating your house up. So there's so many ways that you can use freezer meals to have a no-cook summer. I love it. So what are your plans for this summer?
For starters, we are going to visit my brother at his cabin on the lake. It is a beautiful lake in northern Saskatchewan. It is a long chain of lakes, so you can go in the boat or ski behind the boat, or his kids surf. It's one of those big surf boats, and you can just go for like an hour to the other end and an hour back. And I don't even want to know what he spends on gas in a weekend. It is just awesome to go out there. And it just seems to work out that the second we get there, the skies clear up. I don't think I have ever been there when it has been a drizzly day. And I have been there in the winter and like gone ice fishing and stuff, and it's still nice. It's so funny. And so I'm really looking forward to that. As you know, my husband had broken his leg this spring, and so there is still some things that he can't do. And so normally we would go quadding or go in the side-by-side out in the mountains, or just there's some sand dunes not too far from here. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen until like the end of the summer. He might have to camp like a regular person. Like in a campground, in the trailer, and sit and look at the fire and talk to people. And he will struggle with that. But that's how most people camp. And he's just not that guy, right?
Well, he loves his doing, his quadding, and
he's a doer, right? So if there was something to fix by the fire, or if there was, you know, he has gone to other people's campsites to talk about their trailers. The kids joke about that. Oh, Dad's going to talk about trailers again. And because he likes meeting new people, and he likes visiting, but he's
a friendly guy.
He's a very friendly guy. He just can't sit around a fire and chat all weekend, and I can. And so we do a bit of both, but because he can't quad right now, there might be some campfire chats in his future that he might not even realize. So we will do some of that. And then, you know, we had talked about going to this festival, and then we didn't get tickets for it. We talked about a lot of things, but something I am doing this summer that nobody is going to be jealous of is I am attempting to move my mother closer to live here, and that's going to take a lot of administrative work on my end.
Mental energy.
And a lot of mental energy. So I need freezer meals so that isn't something that I have to worry about, you know?
We will get you set up.
We will get me set up because it's going to be a lot of work, and I can't wait for her to come here. She lives 5 hours away, and for me to go visit her and to help her, because she's in her 80s and she's starting to struggle with, you know, things. And so I go up and I help her, but you try pack it all in, right? She doesn't drive anymore. So you have to run all the errands, and oh gosh, that just reminds me, I have to check and see, do you need any milk? Like, yeah. I get grocery delivery to her house and stuff like that. So it will be so much nicer when she's here and I can just pop by, and she's looking forward to it, and I am she phoned this morning, but we'll get her here and it'll be really great.
It'll be fantastic. It'll kind of be a game changer.
Oh, I totally think it will. Yes, because it's a lot of mental energy to drive that far, like driving for 10 hours and packing it all in and then coming back and still thinking of all the things you didn't get done. So now it's going to be so nice to have that done. So that is a big undertaking I have going on this summer. How about you?
Oh, we are going to the mountain. I was like, nothing, but that's not true.
That's not true. I was going to remind you if you didn't remember.
Yeah, we're going to the mountains twice. So once this month and once in August. My husband is going on a fishing trip on the ocean. His cousin has a fishing boat, and they'll do some like salmon fishing and that kind of thing. He's super looking forward to that. I love the mountains, like love the mountains. Just feel like when I'm there, I'm like, oh, this is
It's home for you,
home
right?
yeah, it just
Even
feels,
though you grew up here, but
you know, you're just like the beauty. I'm just amazed. Like even that drive. Oh, I love it so, so much. But we're taking our little guy and he's not great with change. I know we've talked about this before, but he does not do well with change at all. So it's going to be, last year when we went in July, we turned right back around and went home. He didn't sleep at all the first night, like at all. And the second night, by 2 a.m, our second night of not sleeping and feeling badly for the neighbors out there, you know, because they're hearing him scream and us trying to keep him quiet.
at least you were in a condo and not a tent.
Totally. But it was like, okay, so we turned around and we did not make it the week. We just didn't even make it through the weekend. Like it was just like we turned around and came home. August, we lasted a few days, so he did better, but he hasn't been in a year, almost a year. So we're gonna see how it goes with him.
He's a year older.
Yes.
He really might just do better.
He's excited. Like he talks about the mountains and he's like, we are, like he's pointing at us and going, we are going to the mountains. Yes, we are. So we'll see, you know, 6.5 hour drive there, 6.5 hour drive back. So with a 2-year-old, but he's gonna be 3 in August and maybe that we'll flip a switch. So it's not going to be
fingers crossed for you.
Relaxing, but it might be really fun. So I'm excited to just see the mountains. And when I was there last time, I have to tell you, I love seeing animals in the wild. Like I was telling Christy this already, but it's basically like we live in Canada, but us seeing certain animals in the wild, like the ones that are more rare to see, is basically like seeing a lion if you're in Africa. Like it is such a big deal. And I think we get kind of like cavalier about it. Like,
oh, my brother calls moose swamp donkeys because he hates them because they eat his willow trees. And he'll send me videos, the swamp donkeys are back and they're eating my willow tree. And he's quite jaded about it.
Right.
But you would be so excited if a moose came.
So excited. We've had a moose in our yard, but like it's once every 10 years, you know, like it does not happen very often. So on my last drive through the mountains, I saw mountain goats and there were 8 of them and 4 of them had to walk right in front of me. And so I was stopped and they were walking across and it was just so like, and our little guy has watched that video like over and over and over and he's so excited.
Oh my goodness, if he doesn't see any goats.
I know.
This poor boy.
And then we
better
saw
wrangle up some goats.
Mountain sheep, but not the big-horned mountain sheep. Christy and I have seen them when we went to the mountains a few years ago. And so I didn't see them this time, but I saw 4 deer separately, 4 separate times. And one of them was walking on the walking path in front of me, the paved walking path. And it was so crazy. I'm like, I was sending a video to our little guy and I was like, I'm walking behind the deer. And then he was like in a parking lot and he was licking the gravel. I think he's probably licking the salt off the gravel, but he was just so calm. People were just going around him and he did not move. Like
He was a townie.
He's a townie. He's used to it there. Like it was funny. But then on my drive home, I saw a black bear, like a huge black bear. And it was like right there. Like just right there. You're not supposed to stop for bears anyway, but I couldn't have stopped. So I did not get a picture. I cannot show you, but I saw this giant black bear and I was screaming so much in happiness, in joy, that I kind of got like this scratchy, ouchy throat. Like if you go to a concert or something, that's what I got from the, I was like, oh my goodness, it's a real live bear in the wild. I was by myself. I did not hurt anybody's ears, but I would have if they had been in the vehicle. I was so darn excited. So this summer I'm going to the mountains and darn it, I am going to see animals in the wild.
Yes, you are. And if you don't, you will find them.
I will go on a trek until I find them. I will at least see something because you just do when you're there. But we are so fortunate to live like 6.5 hours away from where you can see that.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So
I have had a bear encounter, but it was not as exciting as that because I was not in my car. And it was a baby.
oh,
Which was extra because then Mama is around, and it crashed through the forest in front of me and a friend. We had been fishing. We had raw fish in our backpacks.
Oh my goodness.
And we ran to the car, and the bear had been on the car. We could see muddy paw prints on my roof of my car. I was 17. Yes, and you could see where he slid off the side. And then we couldn't find my keys. It was this whole story. And my dad and my brother had to drive out and bring me separate keys because somebody gave us a ride to town. Like, it was a saga. But let me tell you, being that close to a bear when you were not in your car was not a happy situation.
No, I should go back and say, I want to clarify that I am excited to see animals from the safety of my vehicle.
Yes. There was somebody in our moms group, our local moms group, that basically, she's like, if this was your kid, I'm really sorry, but there was a moose and they're dangerous and it was behind her and she didn't see it, and I stopped my car and my kids were in the car and I'm like, little girl, you have to get in the car because there is a moose right there and this is not safe. And she took a bit of convincing, but the girl got in the car. And so the mom posted in the Facebook group of like, if this was your child, I'm sorry. I'm phoning the school to tell them that it was me. And so if you call the school,
right,
you know, and she did the right thing. Like, you know, don't get in the car with strangers, but like, or face a moose.
Right.
And so she picked the less dangerous option in this case. And it was very cute. But, you know, we live in northern Alberta and sometimes that's a reality here. And maybe she saved that little girl, but yikes.
Yeah, the day that we had the moose in the yard, I will say that my kids were really little at the time, and I did like gather them all in the house and we watched it from the window.
Well, and what's funny is in the wintertime, I see fresh tracks almost every day. There are deer, coyotes, and lots of times moose in our yards, and we just don't see them because
fox.
There's the fox up on the road. I've seen her so many times. She must have a burrow over here. I'm so excited about the fox, and I will be so upset if she gets hit. I am very excited about the fox.
If you don't know, Christy and I are neighbors. She lives 2 doors down, and we live in the country. So if we lived in town, we would not be seeing as often. We'd still see them sometimes.
Oh, we'd probably see lots of coyotes in town.
But not so much with, you know,
Yeah,
foxes and the moose and the hawks and the, you know, like we see it. Yeah, we get treated to a lot out here.
Yeah, we do. Do you remember when you had the fox screaming outside your window and you thought a woman was being murdered? Vixens can be noisy.
If you're interested, go on YouTube and you know, type in scream of red fox or like red fox sound or whatever, and listen. And that is what was right outside our window. I had never heard it before. I thought like a little girl was being taken or somebody was being
murdered.
Like, it was not good.
Oh no.
It was the middle of the night. It woke us from a dead sleep. It happened 2 nights in a row. And then we were Googling like, what animal could sound like a little girl being killed? And that's what it
Red
was.
fox.
Yeah. So, and then later we saw it in the yard and stuff. So, and then it sort of got to the point where it didn't wake us anymore. We're just like,
oh, there goes the fox is on a date again.
Yeah.
It's kind of the truth.
Yes. So, okay, we have told you about our summers.
We've digressed a bit.
I know, that was really chatty and long, but we have the timestamps at the bottom, so if you're just here for the recipes, just skip ahead to the recipes. You don't need to listen to us. If you're here to hang out with us, which we love, then watch the whole thing and tell us in the comments below what you're doing for your summer.
And what wild animals visit you in your yard.
Totally, because we've got people here from all over the world. So there really might be people that have seen a lion in the wild.
A friend of mine that grew up,
kangaroos.
She has kangaroos in her backyard. She said they're a complete menace.
And we would be so thrilled to see a kangaroo.
Probably, but she also has spiders this big and probably isn't as excited about those.
That's true. Sherry, you're in Australia.
Tell us.
Tell us what you see. So, okay, we are...
Way over time.
We are going to get to our cilantro corn.
Yes, we are. So now we finally get to the long-awaited cilantro corn. This is just a nice side dish. You could eat it on its own. You could eat it hot. You could eat it cold. It's gluten-free. It's dairy-free. It's vegetarian. It hits all those things that sometimes you just need especially if you're taking a side dish somewhere. And it is super easy to put together. We're going to start out with our kernel corn. You can use frozen corn, you can use canned corn as long as you drain it. Get it into your freezer bag. You're going to add some minced purple onion, some chopped cilantro, some grated lime zest, some lime juice, a bit of honey, and some salt and pepper, and that's it. You're gonna mix it around, get that excess air out, and seal it up and freeze it. When you go to eat this, because again, we're talking serving instructions here. I mean, you could totally just heat it in the microwave if you wanted, but you can serve this as a side. It can be like a salad. It's just really fresh and delicious and just lovely. And
that lime zest.
The lime zest.
It just brightens it right up.
Yeah. It really, really does. So you just go ahead and try this one out, and I think you will be a fan.
Hopefully we have given you a lot of ideas and some recipes so that you don't have to heat your house on the hot days this summer. If you've got these in your freezer, not only are you gonna save time and money, but you're gonna save that mental space, and you're gonna save heating your kitchen, which is awesome for this time of year. Another great way to make dinner happen at your house without heating the kitchen is to make slow cooker meals ahead and freeze them. So we're gonna pop a video right over there to some amazing, delicious, easy slow cooker meals that you can also use this summer to make it easier.
Happy cooking!